Today on the Reel Watchlist Plus, we do a little departure because we did announce on our YouTube channel that His Girl Friday was our next film we were going to do with Cary Grant. But we did have two people recently pass away, and it was important that we honor them, Joe. So today, be calm now because this is respectful. We're going to be a little bit calm. Yes. We're going to be a little bit toned down.
Get to the story.
We're talking about Val Kilmer. I just want to say about Val Kilmer, and I want to take it to one of the most successful film critics ever, Roger Ebert. And he said that he should have gotten an award for the most unsung leading man in his generation. Because actually he was always kind of, my mustache seems to be coming off, but a leading man, but never had the heavy weight of like a Tom Cruise or a Brad Pitt. So, what do you think?
I thought Val Kilmer was douchey. Like,
what?
When I watched his stuff, I kind of liked it, but I thought him as an actor and person was douchey. You know,
what do you mean by douchey? Explain that very elaborate film term.
Next time, wax before you get on the set. Get rid of shit. So what does douchey mean? It doesn't mean that he's a bad person. Learning more about Val, remembering what I recollect about him in his movies, he had that image of kind of like a bad boy bully, blonde hair, kind of like image that, you know, he was better than everyone else. And then come to find out through many of the people that he worked with, he was a bit of a prick.
Okay, but let me stop you there. Don't you have to tell them something about our channel that they should subscribe?
Yes, because I've been so focused on her mustache that she didn't wax off. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Bold Media Films YouTube channel, like our episodes, and comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts about what we're doing and whether or not you thought Val Kilmer was douchey when you first met him.
What a term. I hope we don't have the erudite film people watching this for a term like that. We'll have to put that, look it up in the dictionary.
Do you want to throw the qualifier, though, that I gained more respect learning more about him?
Yeah.
For this episode. Here's a guy who is a man of faith, fame, ego, talent, but also of pain. And did he surrender to all that, or did he stage his exit? We pay tribute to Val with this Huckleberry Fade, which includes some bourbon, grenadine, some huckleberry syrup.
Get out. Where'd you get that?
Oh, I could get things.
You are a procurer of huckleberry syrup.
And to add a little bit of, you know,
I'm screwed.
mystery
I can't get this
and,
thing. I'm done.
You know, kind of bitterness. We added a little bit of bitters in it. And she is playing around. Why don't you just stick your fist in there like you did the last episode?
Because I got yelled at, and the producers like to drink the drink if I can't drink it, and I don't want to contaminate it.
With my drink.
All right, here we go. Is it a tongue or a real sip? What do you think?
Tongue it, baby.
All right.
And a splash of club soda, too, to lighten it up. So it's kind of mysterious like Val.
It's not as bad as the last episode.
It's got a little bitterness like Val.
So, you know what? I shocked you.
Yeah?
Well, I might drink it.
You might
I'll
drink
drink like 4 more sips.
Okay.
I need it. So.
Debbie, you look a little Doc Holliday-ish.
Yeah, I am. I was more before you ripped off my mustache. But I didn't have the proper mustache. And Val Kilmer looked really cool as Doc Holliday. And of course it was one of his big roles. But I love this jacket. I'm going to put a shout out to Sue Bloor because she gets me some of my costumes. And this is a beautiful jacket that he would wear, Doc Holliday.
I am the Batman, and how I remember Val Kilmer, besides Top Gun, Batman is how I remember Val Kilmer the most.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And the irony of that is the last video seen of Val Kilmer before he passed away was on his Instagram page, where he posted a video of him and a friend. They were sitting in a padded room, like a mental institution or something. And his friend gave him the mask, the Batman mask to put on. And you couldn't quite tell what Val said because he had a tracheotomy, so he had difficulty in speaking.
His voice box completely removed,
But that was the last thing you saw of Val. So, and then at the end of the video, he actually takes the mask off
Well, that's good, because
Almost
I
like
can't
revealing
relate to you as
himself.
Batman. I can't talk to you and yell at you. I'd be scared. Batman will go after me.
I just want to let folks know, when you see that video, it wasn't the last thing before he died, because he died on April 1st of 2025.
Okay.
And this video appeared like 2 weeks before. So many people thought, oh my God, he was actually okay. It was a video that took place almost a year prior that was
Right.
posted. So
Filmed
why do
in
you
his-
like him? It sounds like you like him.
Well, I feel like anybody that, first of all, he was a star in a very rough time.
Why,
the-
wait, why?
Because
Why is it a rough time?
Because if you are a leading man, I'm going to get into his like persona, but if you get something where he gained weight, maybe it was the precursor to being sick or whatever, you have to be a certain way, look a certain way, the connections you make. And it was very competitive in the time that he was making movies. I just kind of, as going into researching people, I feel like I know them after we do this more.
Okay.
I have more empathy for them, you know, or I despise
Didn't you meet
them.
him?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to say.
Oh, what's
I
what part?
know. I was in visual arts. I was taking night courses, and I was in visual arts. And my teacher, Ralph Applebaum, the people that were in New York would stop by, and he stopped by. This was before Top Gun was even out at all. And he stopped by. He was in New York promoting Top Gun with Tom Cruise. And both of them stopped to see the teacher.
Oh.
And they were charming. I mean, they were charming. And he was super nice. He was actually more famous at that point than Tom Cruise was, believe it or not.
I challenged that.
No. He was, because he said it because
Cruise
he
had
had
risky
done
business. That
he had
made
risky
it-
business.
him
But he had
dancing
done
in his
Top
underwear.
Secret. He had
That made
done
him popular.
different things. Tom Cruise, he wasn't his underwear, but he was just, you know, Val Kilmer had done more stuff. But he was in this off-Broadway play with Kevin Bacon and Sean Penn called Slab Boys. But his big break came in comedy in Top Secret. And he played a rock star, and he did all his own singing. It amazes me sometimes that people that you consider just an actor, they do the singing. They're like triple threats. And like Kevin Bacon in Footloose, look at that, you know. Then he backpacked through Europe. And when he came back, he turned down the role in Blue Velvet, which was a great picture for David Lynch that Kyle MacLachlan ultimately got.
But do you also know that at the time, he was the youngest person to enter and be accepted to Juilliard?
Yes. And he was in the Juilliard 10, which was a big thing. That was like you were really well received, unlike other actors. We were told by their teachers that they were going to succeed, and they became the top of their...
And he had a
if you watch
difficult
our
upbringing,
episodes-
too.
Yes.
And a strange relationship with his dad. His dad left.
All these
His brother
people.
passed away.
Yeah.
From like an epileptic seizure
But you
or
know
something
what it
along
is?
those
It
lines?
sometimes lends to creative talent down the road, because I'd say like 80% of the actors we get into had these crazy troubled childhoods.
Yeah.
So he ended up in Top Gun. He was cast as the cool ace pilot. His hair was cool. It was spiky hair back then.
Iceman.
Yeah, the Iceman. And it made $344 million. And Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer became household names. But then another big role of his was Batman. Val Kilmer was offered the role, and he took it because he didn't even read the script. He just knew the franchise was so popular that they jumped at Batman.
Right.
Everybody had this Batman thing, like you do, or the producers do. Most people do. I don't. He did Tombstone. That was a big picture, is a great performance. And I think he did Doc Holliday better than anybody else.
It was definitely memorable. And in the world of pop culture, definitely a following for his role in that movie.
Definitely.
The
And
lines,
Tombstone, we did
the
well
acting.
in our reviews. And Tombstone is constantly it's like got a new resurgence or something. I guess because of Yellowstone and the Westerns.
Yeah,
People are
plus
getting
it's-
back into Westerns.
Plus, it's a millennial generation
Exactly,
kind of movie that you
exactly.
remembered growing up.
Just to summarize him a bit, he did Willow, which was a fantasy film people would know, and he met his wife, Joanne Whaley, on the set of Willow. The 2000s, he never made a strong comeback. He did movies after that, but they weren't big box office hits, and they did say that he was argumentative on the set.
He was difficult to work.
He
Call
was
it what it
difficult,
was.
and-
He lost his creds
Right.
when he was difficult to work with. His people, like you mentioned Schumacher before. Actually, Schumacher stated that he was infantile and impossible to treat and psychotic at times. which led to his exit out of the Batman franchise.
Right.
He worked with John Frankenheimer in The Isle of Dr. Moreau.
Right.
And I
Frankenheimer's
love this
picture.
statement from Frankenheimer. He's quoted as saying,
Frankenheimer.
even if I was directing a film called The Life of Val Kilmer, I wouldn't have that prick in it. He also, it was in the 90s. So in the 90s, you're talking about news media, celebrity, you know,
Yes.
real life time
Right.
kind of celebrity visuals, you know, the kind of the TMZs of that time,
Right.
chasing after them. So the media loved to hate him. So you
Right.
had people working with him saying these bad things. The media is jumping on it.
Right.
And now Kilmer's kind of like blacklisted. Like when he was trying to come back into the Hollywood scene.
Right.
They
They
called
wanted
him
to
from
push him
Batman
away.
to Fat Man because he gained
Right,
weight.
they did call him Fat Man. And another role that I just want to put in here is he played Jim Morrison in The Doors.
Mm-hmm.
He sang the vocals that the Doors themselves, who were left, said they couldn't barely distinguish his voice from that. And I
Jim
saw that in
Morrison,
the
yeah.
theaters. I'm a Led Zeppelin fan. I like the Doors. I have 2 Doors albums, but I wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. God knows what I was going
Yeah, I'm
through.
really not. I didn't think much
I
of
was
the Doors.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
But I wasn't like coming home and saying, you got to go see it.
The media's beating up on him. He sort of takes a break from everything. And when actors take a break, where do they go? New Mexico. And he ends up
okay.
near the Pecos River in New Mexico, near Santa Fe, where all these actors who want to get away from
That's
the
true.
world.
That's where a lot of
That's
people
where Gene
went.
Hackman went.
Yeah.
A lot of them go there.
Right.
He kind of retreats and kind of finds himself. He gets into, you know, artwork and spirituality and faith. And we mentioned his belief in Christian Science. But he still had these douchey moments during his stay in New Mexico. Matter of fact,
Right.
he wanted to run for governor. He sort of toyed
Oh
with
my
the
God,
idea.
really? I
Yes.
did not know that.
And then he was
Why do
quoted.
they all want to get into politics, these actors?
Well, again, he's
Trying to
no
find his
disrespect.
niche.
That's kind of a douchey, egotistical. The guy had an ego.
Really, Mayor?
Yes, as I am the mayor. So you
No,
do
you're
need
not
an ego to be
douchey,
in
though.
politics.
You're
But
wonderful.
Some are good, some are
and
bad.
you were a great politician.
Well, thank you very much. So when we're talking about his passing, my belief, and this is my position, is that 2014, he gets throat cancer. He's a Christian Scientist, so he believes that prayer will cure him.
Yeah.
3 years passes and his kids are pleading with him. His kids, Jack and Mercedes, they're saying, you get some treatment. He finally gets some treatment, but by then it's a little bit too late.
Screwed him
He
up.
gets the tracheotomy. He has a feeding tube. So he's now left in a situation where his health is deteriorating. And my hypothesis is that he staged his death. Not in a way of assisted suicide, but he knows, like 2017, he's getting treatment, goes into remission,
But he died of pneumonia, right?
complications from cancer.
Or maybe he went walking outside in the cold to kill himself.
No. And this is where I gotta
Okay, go ahead. I'll
Because-
zip.
you have cancer. Now, we've had loved ones who have had cancer. I've seen, a dear friend of mine, I took care of her, and even to the point where she died in the hospital in front of me, you see that kind of transition. And I never forget what she said to me about a year when she decided she wasn't going to have any more treatments. She says, I wish I could have done more. And I convinced her that, she did a lot. She counseled people and all that. But she was in her 30s, so she felt...
Wow.
And I think Val also thought that because of this, he could never really get back into acting. He wanted to change his history with the public. Because again, you got all these critics, all these bad things. So he wanted to
Right.
leave this world in a better light. He starts his memoir. After he does his memoir, he does a documentary about himself called Val. Now, it's something that you should watch. It was really interesting because he can't talk. He gets his son to do the voiceover
Okay.
of him speaking because he can't speak.
I'm familiar with it. My father had throat cancer and had a tracheotomy. And my father was a singer and a speaker his whole life. And when he had to hold the little thing up, and he would go to see my son's little games and stuff, he spoke, and everybody in the room would turn and look. It's terrible. It's terrible.
To his credit, this is why I give him props. I think at some point it was, all right, I did it all. Everyone
Yeah.
loves him now. I mean, you can't
Of course.
Because he's now steering his memories
exactly.
into a positive way, and spiritually that's also helping him evolve.
Another terrible thing,
and he passes away.
Joe, is the fact that if people don't see somebody, whether they're, out of the public eye, and then they see them and they've had prednisone or whatever problem, it's a shock.
So, and for the audience members that are watching this, they might think, "Are you crazy? What do you mean he staged his death?" Like, because reports came out that he wasn't doing well. The autopsy said it was pneumonia, but complications of cancer. They found out he also had tumors in the back of his throat.
Oh, God.
They also found out he had malnutrition. So I think at
Maybe
some
he
point
wanted
he
to
gave
die.
up.
He gave up.
Not even gave up, but said,
That's it.
"That's it. I'm going to leave this world."
And if you're in pain,
it's not unusual. David Bowie, I'll give you an example of David Bowie. He died in 2016. He hid from the public that he had liver cancer for 18 months.
Yeah.
He did his last album, and when he was doing the video for Lazarus, he was notified by his physicians that his cancer was terminal. He had 3 months to live.
Right.
In that video, you see him bandaged up in a hospital bed. His eyes are bandaged, and as he's singing, he's floating.
I remember that.
And it's like, wait, he left through song, like, I'm ending my life, here's how you're gonna remember it, and his album dropped 2 days before he died.
Yes, I remember that.
And it was just, and for those that like Gen Zers, I was doing some more research. There's another recent artist, a younger artist, a rapper, Mac Miller. He was someone who went through a very difficult life and expressed his feelings through his rapping and his production of music and music videos. And the irony of his death, he died of an overdose of fentanyl, cocaine, and alcohol. It wasn't planned covertly. His songs from his last album talked about, like, I'm done, I can't take anymore, this is too much. One of his videos actually shows him in a coffin. He's trying to get out of the coffin, and he's actually breaking out of the coffin onto the world, and then literally it's like the heavens move.
Right.
Really mind-blowing. And it got 500 million views on YouTube.
Well, that's your legacy, right?
So sometimes, it's done purposefully.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's done maybe not consciously, but you sort of know.
Yes.
And I think
a lot of people do that. But I was going to say about Jerry Orbach, he had cancer so badly. And the last episode he did on Law and Order, he had told them to write it that he was out of it to retire. And he couldn't, he was a great actor.
Oh, I love Jerry Orbach.
And you could tell the last show he was just struggling.
Well, Debbie, Val Kilmer, whether you liked him, indifferent to him, or loved him, had some great movies that you could watch.
He did.
What are your recommendations?
Well, I'm going to go through them quickly, not like I normally do in a watch list, but of course everybody's seen Top Gun, I'm sure. The Doors is important because he did such a great performance. We talked about Tombstone. Go back and watch our episode, really good episode we did, and he was fantastic in that. Batman Friends, they know about him already. He did a standout in the ensemble cast of Heat, not a picture I like very much, but it had Pacino and De Niro. He did The Ghost in the Darkness with Michael Douglas, which is like a safari African thing. Last night I stayed up late to watch Wonderland, where he played John Holmes, the big porn star, Johnny Wad. I think I said Isle of Dr. Moreau, which was a real kitsch thing, real crazy film. If you want to see the end of Marlon Brando weighing 1 million pounds, and Kilmer, he was so much trouble, that whole set was a mess. So that's my watch list.
I thought he was a douche when I first saw him as an actor. And again, maybe the media had a lot to play with my beliefs of him.
Right.
I think as he evolved in life and spiritually evolved in life, I got to give the man credit. He planned his exit.
There you go.
He did all that he wanted to do, knowing the time that he had left. And, on April 1st, around his family and friends, he decided that,
Make peace
enough's enough.
with life.
He was great with his artwork, and one of his last post on his Instagram account happened days before, and it was a campfire. And it was a glowing campfire that sort of portrayed the end of that campfire where it's kind of dwindling.
Yeah.
And then you have
the embers.
The embers, and you have the background of the mountains, and it's sort of like
Right.
It's time.
His
It's time.
codicil.
So props to him, Val Kilmer.
Well, my summation about Val Kilmer is, of course, I've seen all his movies. I didn't love him. I didn't dislike him. He was just kind of there. My summation is I feel bad for the guy. And I just see these actors that are on a high and then they end in these tragic ways. It's so, you look at your own life and you go, wow, I never reached a pinnacle of that. But if I don't do something at the end, I feel softer because look at these people that were everywhere and then they have this thing. Right. So let's show them our favorite Val Kilmer movie, okay?
So let's end the episode by showing a favorite movie of ours on a count of three. Our favorite Val Kilmer movie. 1, 2, 3.
You're going to die.
Oh, you're crazy.
I don't care.
You're crazy.
I always say I don't care.
Crazy.
I love this freaking movie. It's so crazy. It's a cult classic. You got to watch it. It's nuts. I love this crazy movie because I love Brando and he was so crazy in it. And Val Kilmer's so crazy. And the little thing.
And the history of that whole movie was crazy.
Little person in it, you got to watch it. Just 20 minutes for the little person. And Isle of Dr. Moreau had 4 remakes, started in silent, came up to this. And it's just a crazy movie. I love it. If you want to watch something to be crazy and not have to think, watch Isle of Dr. Moreau.
And folks, comment below too. If you
their favorite movie,
your favorite Val Kilmer movie, or do you think he planned his exit? What do you think?
It's good. I never thought about it until you talked about it.
No, well, thank you.
Well, I'm always enlightened, Joe.
I feel redeemed. Matter of fact, this is made with redemption
You're gonna drink
bourbon.
this one too. I got heartburn. This is a heartburn thing. This is like whiskey that they would drink in Tombstone. Whiskey.
Yeah, well, that's why I used it.
Solid crap.
Well, we're not going to New Mexico. We're not going to Santa Fe because we're definitely not escaping from public life.
No.
But we are going to do some really creative things with this show. I don't know where. So, Deb, where are we going next?
Well, Joe, as I say time and again to tell you, and you just never know. You're always in a fog. We never know where we're going until we go there.